Good morning, students. As part of our Preboard preparation, we started revising all the chapters. We have completed first two chapters, Fundamental Unit of Life and Tissues. According to our revised syllabus, the next chapter in our syllabus is Why Do We Fall Ill? Chapter 13. So let us take certain basic concepts about our body. Cells are basic units of living beings, and cells are made up of variety of chemical substances like proteins, carbohydrates, fats or lipids, and many other molecules also. By having these many different types of biomolecules as structural and functional moieties, living cell acts as a very dynamic place or active place. So, always some or other activities will keep happening inside and even outside of the living cells. Some cells will keep moving like white blood cells, macrophages, etc. And some repair process will be keep going on inside the cells. That is at tissue level. If you look at that is at a cell level. If you look at tissue level, there are various activities that are carried out, like our heart is continuously pumping the blood, for which it will be keep beating. Lungs are continuously taking breath, and kidneys are continuously filtering out the blood, and the brain is thinking consciously and unconsciously. So here we are trying to tell two things. Within the cell, activities are going on continuously in and around the cell, and within the tissues and in and around the tissues also, some or other activities are going on, and continuity of activities, it actually results in keeping the living organism alive. If any discontinuity is taking place in any of the vital activities, then the organism is going to die. As we have discussed, beating of the heart, breathing of the lungs, filtering of the kidneys, thinking of the brain, like all these activities are interrelated or interconnected. What does it mean by having interconnected activities? Having interconnectedness refers that if any one activity is not properly carried out, then the remaining activities will also be affected. For example, blood contains many waste substances that are collected from various cells. If the kidneys did not filter all these wastes from the blood, and the impure blood cannot properly supply the oxygen. When blood cannot supply the oxygen, the vital tissues like brain, heart, they will not properly function. So due to the improper activity of one tissue, other activities also are getting affected. So anything that prevents proper functioning of cells, anything that prevents proper functioning of cells and tissues, anything that prevents proper functioning of cells and tissues will lead to a lack of proper activity of the body. Being well, it refers to well-being as effective functioning. Health is a state of being well enough to function well physically, mentally, and socially. Health, definition of health is like this: state of being well enough to function well physically, mentally, and socially. There are various issues that actually decide our health. All these issues are just discussed under a heading personal and community issues. Personal and community issues. Various issues that are related or that matter for health are personal and community issues. What are these issues? The health of all organisms will depend on their surroundings. These surroundings are basically two types: physical surroundings and social surroundings, or physical environment and social environment. Physical environment means within that physical body of that individual. Social environment means in the surrounding, the person, a society will be there, community will be there. The well-beingness of community or well-beingness of society also matter a lot for the health of individual. So, physical environment will be decided by the social environment. If social environment is good, physical health automatically can be good. Next, public cleanliness is very important to have good health. If public cleanliness is not maintained, like open drainages, thrown out waste or garbage on the streets, like improper things are there, then it will attract so many infectious agents that will result in poor health of the individuals. Balanced diet or good diet, it is very much essential for keeping the physical body fit enough. If the people are not having good diet or balanced diet, then they cannot keep their body fit. But to have balanced diet or good diet, one need money. To get or to have money, one need job. So good economic conditions and opportunities to do the work or jobs are required. These are all at one side. Other side, to stay happy. In order to stay happy, getting mutual respect from one to other in the society, it is very much essential. So persons should not mistreat one to other. They must treat each and everyone equally. That helps to keep the persons happy and at peace. So, maintaining social equality and harmony, it is very much essential to stay healthier. So, these are the personal and community issues that matter for our health. Distinctions between healthy and disease-free. Disease, the word is self-explanatory. Dis-ease or disturbed ease or being at uncomfortable condition, physically, mentally, or whatever it may be. Being at uncomfortable condition is known as dis-ease. So if a person is having some physical disease, in spite of not knowing what exactly the cause for the disease, but we can say that the person is having some physical disease, we can say. So without knowing the absolute final cause of a particular disease. For example, if a person is suffering from diarrhea, diarrhea can be, that is loose motions. Loose motions can be caused by various reasons. But without knowing exact reason, one can tell that particular person is suffering from diarrhea or motions. So that is about disease. Poor health. Poor health means person is physically looking weak. You are not knowing. You are just looking at the person and you are telling that the person is not well. What exactly the person is having the disease, that we are not knowing. So without actually suffering from a particular disease also, the person can be at poor health. So, disease means suffering from the disease. But without actually suffering from a particular disease, how can a person be at poor health? Disease means having some abnormality in physical body. That is disease, without knowing a particular cause. But poor health without actually suffering from a particular disease, then also a person can be at an uncomfortable situation. So simply not being diseased is not the same as being healthy. So as per the above statement, without actually suffering from a particular disease also, a person can be at poor health. Without actually suffering from a particular disease also, a person can be at poor health. It implies that simply not being diseased is not the same as being healthy. Simply not being diseased is not the same as being healthy. Good health refers to have different abilities in different persons based on their different requirements. To have different abilities in different persons based on their different requirements. Person is not having any disease, but a particular requirement is needed by that person. If that ability is not there in that person, then we can say that the person is at poor health, or he is not strong enough to do that requirement, to fulfill that requirement. Example, if you take a dancer need to make different types of movements, for which his body need to have the ability to stretch properly. If the dancer is not having the ability to stretch properly, then dancer is at poor health. Musician, not magician, musician. Musicians need to have good lung capacity to blow out good amount of air, or to hold the breath, all these things. So enough breathing capacity must be present in a musician. So if the persons are not having the required abilities, then the persons can be considered as poor health having persons. So having the unique potential as per the requirement, is necessary for a real good health. So a person can be poor in health without there being a simple cause in the form of an identifiable disease. So even though there is no identifiable physical disease in a person can be at a poor health, because if the unique potential needed for the requirement is not there in the person, then the person can be said as what? At poor health. So thinking about individual only is involved regarding disease, physical disease, whereas thinking about societies and communities and their requirements is involved regarding health. If you take our body, it has got different organ systems. like digestive system, neuromuscular system, nervous system, endocrine system, excretory system. So many systems are there. Each system perform some important function. For example, if you take digestive system, it helps to digest food. Neuromuscular system, it helps in thinking and giving signals. Musculoskeletal system, it helps to hold the body parts together and in movement of the body. Likewise, different systems perform different functions. Many organ systems are required in order to keep the body active or at good physical health. Many organ systems proper functioning keep the body in good physical health. So if any one particular system is not able to function well, from good functioning condition, if it is going to bad or worse functioning condition, what will it happen? The functioning or the appearance of one or more systems of the body will change for the worse at a diseased condition. Not diseased condition. When a person is at disease, one or more systems of the body will change for the worse. The functioning or the appearance of one or more systems of the body will change for the worse during a disease. These changes will give rise to certain symptoms and signs of the disease. These changes will give rise to certain symptoms and signs of the disease. This is how a disease will look like. Based on the symptoms, the person's suffering will be identified. Based on the signs, the person's disease can be identified. Identifying the suffering is different from identifying the disease. By identifying the suffering, one can understand that the person is not well, is a diseased condition. By identifying the signs, one will identify or diagnose the disease. So, in detail, what are the signs and symptoms? How do they differ from one to each other? And types of diseases. All these things let us discuss in the next class. Thank you.